So we're really excited to kick off this new season with you all. We're very happy you're here. We really are going to focus on exploring what's next in AI and education. As always, Jamie, if you'll advance our TBR AI Learning Collaborative team is Erin Hugas, Jamie Nelson Paribot, who is not with us today, and of course me, I'm Sarah Hazelton, and we are happy to hang out with you once a month on Tuesdays, and we're always happy to help you with any of your AI training needs. So today, we are going to get started we have a couple of things to share. We thought we'd do an overview. So our season 3 theme is empowering faculty and students through evolving assessment practices and enriching learning. So we will be doing something in that space throughout Tech Talk Tuesday, but we are always open to your suggestions, which you can put when you register. You can put those in your registration form. We're going to be covering, we're going to recap some research from the Higher Education Policy Institute regarding how students are using AI. We're going to talk a little bit about some partnerships we're currently working with regarding the implementation and assessing the AI policies in classrooms. We're going to do a quick tech demo using Clipchamp. I have to be sure I say that slowly and correctly because I've said it about 15 different ways. Then we've got Then we're going to talk about our communities of practice, which are kicking off with our phase 1 is kicking off actually tomorrow with an orientation meeting. So we're going to give you an update on those. And then we've got just a quick sneak peek at a couple things that are going to be coming this spring, and then go through our resources. So we have a lot to cover in an hour. But first, as always, I wanted to cover some housekeeping tips. These are the tips you hear me say every time, but I like to give them as a strong reminder. So first, you might not hear us say it every time, but you're going to hear us say it at the beginning of every single meeting you have with us. Make sure when you're using these AI tools, you are protecting your information. Don't include any PII. Don't include your PII. If you're working with student information, make sure you're not including any of your students' PII or anyone else's PII that you might be working with in whatever information you might be using in whichever tool you happen to be using at that point. And as always, per our TBR IT team, we continue to recommend that we limit the use or we don't use third-party recording transcripts. So if you have a third-party recording AI, like an Otter AI or a Read AI or something else, and it pops into this meeting, I'm going to decline it or I'm going to kick it out. And the reason is because we cannot, we don't know the privacy policies or the terms of service for every single one of those. Now, Copilot is fine because your school or your institution is going to have a institutional policy. That's fine. Zoom, as long as you have a school account, that's going to be fine. Those tools that are embedded in those the recording tools that are embedded in the tools that you have through the schools that you work for are fine. It's those additional extra outside tools. So know that if you're in our training, we're going to kick those out. And since we are at the beginning of season 3, just a quick, we talked a little bit about this a couple months ago, but just a quick reminder that PII is any information that could be used to distinguish or trace someone's individual identity. We do use minimum necessary as a best practice standard, so the least information to the fewest people. And then a quick TBR policy reminder about handling that PII. So we wanted to be sure we covered our bases. Now that we have all of our housekeeping under control and we're ready to go, I'm going to turn it over to Jamie because there's been some great research and she wants to cover it for us.
Thank you, Sarah. So one of the things that we wanted to do as we're kicking off our season 3 is to kind of go over how we keep ourselves as a group in what we consider the center of what's happening with AI implementation. And a part of that is scanning the landscape for research. And we're starting to see more research churned out now. This innovation has rolled out so quickly that research hasn't really caught up, right? So we've been doing daily practicing. And so finally, we're getting at the place where we're starting to see research articles. And if you go back through our previous recordings, you'll see us mention research from time to time. But one that we wanted to kind of highlight as we get started in season 3 is the HEPI 2025 student survey on their Gen AI use. And this is the Higher Education Policy Institute. So it's one of the ones that we look to for what are they finding out on the attitudes and uses and implementations across the globe. This is a UK group. And we do have the link for you in the resources, or I'm sure someone will share that in the chat. My teammates will. And I've given you some other links to research as well. But if you're interested in looking at more research, please reach out and let us know, and we can share with you some of those resources that we have. But there are some markedly very unsurprising revelations that came out of this research for us. And so what we have on the slide in front of us is just a glance of some of the next few slides, actually, some of the big takeaways from this survey. Now, the 2025 survey, what they're doing is they ran this survey and they're comparing what they found in 2024 versus 2025. And so there are some leaps, as we would expect there would be. So in 2024, they found that 66% of the students that they surveyed were using AI tools. That jumped to 92 in 2025. In 2024, 53% were using Gen AI to support assessments. That jumped to 88% in 2025. In 2024, they found that students were using AI to explain concepts further, which is a very good way to use it, summarize articles, which we do daily on our work as well, and suggest research ideas. In 2025, they found those same topics in the response from the students, but they also found that 18% were directly including AI-generated text in assessed work. Now, where this kind of pops up a flag for this team is, okay, how are we delivering those assessments? That's a really big focus for us this year, and that's one of the takeaways from this particular survey. Not just this particular survey, but across the board when we're listening to higher ed institutions and systems and faculty, they're all talking about shifting your assessment strategy. So that's going to be a big one for us this year. In 2024, it found that there were early stages of adoption, mixed student confidence. There was a lot of, I don't know, I'm not sure, I may get in trouble. That was very pervasive in 2024. In 2025, they found that there's rapid adoption, growing confidence, and widespread integration into coursework. So where this kind of really comes in play for us is, are we preparing students to use AI in the proper ways? They're using it. We see that from the responses, but are we doing our job in higher ed and trying to prepare them as best we can? So takeaways from this survey, 51% students says AI helps them save time. I would encourage you to drill down in this survey. I think you're going to find that you are pleasantly surprised at some of the responses from the students, in that they really want to know how to use the tools effectively and ethically, but they are just not sure what that actually means. 50% of students believe AI improves quality of their work. That's a biggie going forward. We'll look at it in just a moment. Students have used generative AI for assessments. That's at 88%. Faculty, if you are not stress testing your assessments, we ask that you begin that process. Do that now, run everything through, see what you're getting back out of the system. That is the best way to gauge if you see work in front of you that has just been cranked through an AI tool. You will become familiar with what the outputs look like. 80% of students feel their institution's AI policies are clear. Very good. So the policies are clear. Where's the ambiguity? Where's a little bit of the confusion that's happening? So in that data, in the survey, they cover this information. Students think misuse would be detected, 76%. Why take the risk? So if 70% of these students feel like I could get in big trouble for using these tools, why am I taking that risk? 36% of students report receiving formal AI skills training from their institution. Look at the gaps. So if we look at 92% are using it, 36% are getting training on it. So that is a big gap that we really need to think about and address within our institutions. Why students take the risk? Okay, perceived benefit against perceived risk. Students cite saving time. So we have all looked at information out there about high stakes testing and how students can procrastinate, high stakes assessments, assignments, etc. So students are finding out, hey, I can save a lot of time with these AI tools, just like we're finding out in our work that we can save a lot of time with these AI tools. But that's one of the reasons why they're using it. Students' schedules are packed, their lives are busy. Many of them are balancing work, life, all of that kind of thing going on. So they're seeing it as a time saver. They also lack confidence in the work that they're producing. They feel like if they can use AI, it's going to improve their work. So the two outcomes for them are, I can do this faster and I can make my work better. That's what the students are saying. Overconfidence in their use. Many students feel like they can outsmart a lot of faculty, right? So they can run an assignment or assessment through this tool and then this tool and then this tool and then this tool and then work on it, and maybe they can avoid detection. Ambiguity in policy enforcement. 80% of policies were clear, remember, but fewer than half have had formal training on what constitutes misuse. Do students clearly understand at your institution what misuse looks like? Students may assume institutions lack the tools or commitment to enforce rules consistently. This is a theme that is rising up right now. So we see a lot of legal cases we follow on the landscape, and we know very well that legally AI detection tools will not cut it. You cannot lean on those things solely. Every single case that has been taken up legally has failed on the part of the institution or the faculty member when they are leaning on AI detection tools solely. So we've got to come up with some other ways that we are guiding our students in the ethical use of AI tools and making sure they understand that clearly. Cultural normalization. You see an exclamation point beside this one because this one I really want to emphasize. 92% of students using AI tools, the behavior feels normalized. How many AI tools are swirling around us in our daily lives? They are everywhere. So the tools are being normalized. And in fact, I heard a comment from an industry leader in a meeting that we were sitting in on, and this goes to the efficiency piece and the normalization. And that statement was, what academia determines is cheating, business determines is efficiency. So business is looking, and industry are looking at these tools of, hey, we can use these tools to reduce our bottom line. So they have a different message that they're living by than what we're living in academia. Now, they have a different mission, right? And so that's different. But how do we adjust our practices in higher ed where we know students are feeling this normalized pattern of AI being steeped in their daily lives, but yet we're saying it's off limits in the classroom potentially? So what are the takeaways from this survey? Assessment redesign. So these are some of the big things you're going to hear from us going forward. We need for all faculty to stress test those different assessments, assignments, and then let's talk about redesigning them. We talk about not redoing an entire course. If someone said this statement to me as a faculty member, I might feel like, oh my goodness, that is a huge undertaking. How am I going to take this? How am I going to do all this? I'm so busy. I have so little time. But we can do this phased in, and we can do it step by step. So that's one of the things we want to help you with. Training, training, training. So that was a big takeaway from this survey. Faculty need training, staff need training, students need training all across the board. So that's one of the things that we're here to help you with and to help your institution with, is getting you up to speed on these various tools. Clarify policies. Be very clear about what is an accepted use and what is not an accepted use in your courses. Where this can get really confusing is if you're telling students in your course, I don't want you using AI tools, but yet Grammarly is embedded in these systems that we're using, or D2L has an AI tool that's embedded in that system, but yet we're saying, okay, not that tool, but this tool. So it gets very gray and very confusing very quickly. So we've got to be very clear and not only say to students, this tool is off limits, but let them know the why. That is really important. There are many subject areas where students need to learn the mechanics of something like writing, all of those kinds of things. And so we need to clarify that message. If I'm saying, don't use this AI tool in this assessment or this assignment, this is why. This is what I'm trying to get you to learn outside of that tool. Promote equity and integrity. So one interesting thing in this survey, which I feel like is very relevant to us as a system, is that there is very unequal application of AI tools in education across this country. And so we see students in STEM fields that typically have faculty members who are jumping in and saying, let's use these AI tools. So other fields may not be, uneven application. We have students in our population in Appalachia that are underserved. So we may see, some uneven application there. So you'll see that information conveyed in this survey. So take a look at it. So we want to make sure that we're addressing usage gaps and authentic learning. So as the AI Learning Collaborative, as we kick off this year, this is what we want you to understand of our role that are here to support you as a team. So some of the things that we do is we constantly scan the landscape, and we're looking for AI implementation across higher ed and also in industry. We have to straddle that line because we know that we've got to prepare or help faculty learn what's industry saying they're needing? And industry moves quite quickly. And so we have to constantly monitor that. Also, we're looking at lessons learned from other higher ed institutions. Good, bad, ugly, and different doesn't matter. They're all lessons that we can look at and evaluate. We monitor privacy and ethical concerns and mitigation practices of those. So we watch these systems. We listen to the developers of the systems. We want to understand when a privacy concern is brought up to them, how do we mitigate that? How are they mitigating it on the side of the tool, as Sarah mentioned in the transcription tools? So we have to constantly monitor that. One tip that you can take away is when you are looking at a tool, run that privacy documentation through the AI tool and say, highlight for me the points that I need to be concerned about. On our website, Blending Minds and Machines, there are prompts for you on the resources page to data mine those privacy statements. Use those, put those into practice for yourself, give them to your students, let them try those privacy prompts. And so we can see exactly and quickly through a policy what's going to happen to our data. Also, remember, you can ask it to source for you where in that policy it's pulling that information from, so you can then validate. We want to monitor what's on the horizon for what's next. That's one of the things that we do. It's quite rapid moving, but we want to what we call filter and focus through all of the smoke and see what is really relevant to our faculty and staff today, right now. What do we need to know and what's nice to know? So we have to sift that out. We want to develop an understanding of how AI can level the playing field for underserved student populations. This is a biggie, folks. So spend some time looking at this particular area. Students with disabilities, students with English as a second language, the ability to tutor, all of these different kinds of things where students, first gen is a big one also. So hone in on, we're giving you some research articles on that. So take a look at that. But that is a really biggie, especially for us here in Appalachia. We are looking to develop AI competency deemed important for graduates per industry. It's industry informed. It's not something that we're sitting in a room and determining, hey, this is important for students to know. We directly respond to what industry is telling us that students need to know and be able to do that set of competencies, and to develop best practices that afford our institutions the ability to innovate in a time of rapid transformation. This is one of the things that our communities of practice will help do. This is one of the things that you're helping do by attending these collaborative sessions that we have on our Tech Talk Tuesday, so we can share information so that we're all lifting the load together. So a couple things that we have going on, I'm going to touch on the first one and Sarah's going to hit on the second one for us. But this year, Vol State, let me give a shout out to Vol State. We are so proud of them. They stepped up and stepped out and contacted us and said, hey, we're going to do a school-wide AI pilot. And they have taken it on. And trust me, we are all holding hands together because we realize that this is a live and learn daily kind of undertaking, but action begets answers, right? And so they are taking this under action, and the way that they're rolling out their pilot is they're using a red, yellow, green light system framework. And so some courses are like, okay, we really don't want to use AI tools in our course during this pilot. So they are the red light group. We have a yellow light group that are using AI on some assignments and assessments, but not everything. And so the appropriateness there is very, very important. Then we have a green light group who have said, we're going to use AI as much as we can and our assignments and assessments this year. And so one of the really, really, really important things to do that we have worked on together with them is communicating this out to students. So think about students who are in a course and you go in and you sit down and the instructor goes over the syllabus and says, no AI whatsoever. And then that student transitions to their next class and the faculty says, we're going to use AI in this way. Or they go to a different course and the faculty says, we're going to use AI tools. So students are hearing different levels of use, right? And no use. We need for them to understand what is happening, why it is happening. This is crucial as we go forward. And this is crucial for every single faculty member in the TBR system because students talk. And they may not be talking in the hallway, but they're talking on forums. And they may be saying, okay, this instructor is telling us we can use AI. This instructor is telling us we can't. So communicate, communicate, communicate. You cannot over communicate. So what we've done with Vol State is we have developed some instruments, some documents that they have uploaded into their D2L system. So students see very clearly what is happening and why is happening. Also, this information we're going to collect throughout the pilot, and we're looking to publish it for research. We're bringing those students along in this process with us because they are very, very important. They are the center of our universe. So we want to know very clearly what they think about this process, how they're feeling about the tools, how they're using the tools. If they're in a course where they're not using the tools, how do they feel about that process? So it's really important. So communicate to your students, even if you have faculty or you are a faculty member who are just not quite ready to step into that space yet, communicate that to your students. If you want some examples of the communication, reach out to us. We will share those documents with you and help you to have that conversation. So I'm going to hand it over to Sarah and let her talk about our next project.
So this is another example. It's not quite as in-depth as our Vol State friends who are really grabbing this with both hands and jumping in. But for those of you that may be involved in Tennessee eCampus, and maybe if you don't know, probably about 2.5 years ago now, Tennessee eCampus started implementing Simple Syllabus in all of their courses. Simple Syllabus is a tool that allows for creating consistency in elements of the syllabus. It creates the opportunity to easily align and review content in each of the syllabi for each course. So this fall, the Tennessee eCampus team has actually implemented a course AI syllabus policy. So what that means is that they have required for every Tennessee eCampus course, there is a required element in every syllabi that clarifies AI usage in that course. Is it allowed? Is it not allowed? Is it acceptable? If it's acceptable, what is acceptable? What's not acceptable? They've provided citation guidelines, additional instructions, and for every single one of the courses that have been launched this fall in Tennessee eCampus, every single course has a version of this AI policy that's relevant to that course in every single one of the courses. So those the AI policy statements were actually developed with feedback from students. They were developed with feedback from faculty. The faculty got a sample verbiage that would be put in the syllabus with some expectations, and then that was put in there. So that's another different way that our Tennessee eCampus team has addressed the issue of AI in all of the Tennessee eCampus courses, is that now every student and every faculty has defined exactly what is acceptable use for AI in that course, and every student can find in the syllabus in exactly the same spot, because we're using simple syllabus and it's very easy to create that consistency, where they can find those expectations for any course that they take. So this is just another approach that Tennessee eCampus is using to provide, again, that transparency, because transparency is key. You'll hear us say that over and over again. Transparency is key, not just for faculty, but for students, and being able to have that open conversation is key to student success. And so that's an example from our Tennessee eCampus of a way that we're creating some transparency and clarity in AI usage in Tennessee eCampus courses that just kicked off about 3 weeks ago.
And I would just like to add one more thing to that, Sarah. And I didn't mention it, but Vol State also has the syllabus statements embedded within their course syllabus. And one really important thing is we met as a group on several occasions and landed on consistent terminology and phrasing in there. And so that was really, really helpful. So if you're looking to do this kind of thing, again, we're glad to share that information out with you. But it's really a good effort to work to land on some consistent phrasing for your students. It just helps clarify.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. One of the things that we realized as we were kicking off season 3 is that as much as we like to talk about the policies and we like to talk about the research, we also want to make sure we're taking time to show you how we're using AI in our everyday world. We're also going to perhaps, as we move along this season, invite some of you to show us how you're using AI as well. So our team, just in case we haven't said this once or twice recently, not only are we part of the TBR's AI Learning Collaborative, but we are the competency-based education team for TBR. And so in addition to all of our work in AI, we also work with the colleges and technical and TCATs across the state to help develop CBE programs. So one of the projects that I've been working on recently is to develop some workforce courses related to some of those essential skills. And one of the challenges we had was, how do we create really relevant videos for the specific industry we were working with in an effective way? Because while we can play with that technology, sometimes it takes a little time to develop a video. So I'm actually going to share with you a little AI trick I ran across, and we've been using it and it works really well. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to hope all of my internet and technology plays nice. So I'm actually going to do the exact opposite of what I would recommend for any person doing a training to do. I'm actually going to hit the button first and then explain what's happening. So in Clipchamp, there is, now I'm going to caveat this is with a Copilot Pro account. I'm going to explain what you can do without the Pro account, but this is with the Pro account. I am putting in a prompt. This prompt is about 3 sentences long. It says, for those of you that this is too small to read, it says, develop a 2 to 3 minute video focused on problem solving at work. Include in the video an explanation of identifying the root cause of the problem, not just symptoms, as well as highlighting a few root cause analysis tools like the 5 whys and cause and effect fishbone diagram. This video needs to be relevant to technical students in an administrative office technology program. So I'm going to let that run and you all can watch it run. When you have a Copilot Pro account, Clipchamp allows you to create videos. What I have found, so remember I'm doing some workforce training workforce training courses. This lets me jump in about the next 2 or 3 minutes. It will create this base video for me. It cuts my development time down by hours. If you have just the regular Copilot account, you can still create videos. What you will get, instead of where I put in the prompt, the 3 or 4 sentence prompt, you will actually get a step-by-step process. So Copilot will walk you step-by-step how to create your video. You can upload your media, you can use their libraries, but it's a step-by-step process versus where I'm using with the Copilot Pro, where I'm putting it in and it's popping this video in for me. I'm going to stop sharing and come back because I realized that I didn't add sound, and that's going to be something you might want here in just a second. So what this is allowing us to do is it is making sure I have the right speakers selected so that it can recognize it. But what this will allow, it's not doing what I want. So we're just going to roll with it. What it's doing for me, though, is that it's allowing me to get significantly farther in the development timeline. So what this does is it will give you the written audio. It will give you let's try this one. Oh. All right, we're going to quit fighting sound. It's going to give you the written audio. It will give you the clips. It will give you everything. So we can play this as it is, and it is going to have the written, it's going to have the verbal, it's going to get me hours down the development timeline. What Clipchamp will then allow me to do is, as we're working through here, if I don't like some of the clips that are in here, we can come over here. I can come over here to this video library. I can look. They have some weird, I will tell you, they sort of organize their video illogical way for my brain. Because some organize them by colors and by different categories. But if I wanted to look up, office, if I said office, so it's going to pop in all the videos that could potentially have anything tagged to an office. So I can pull these over here. I can pop this in. I can replace this video. Clicking my mouse, I can replace this video. You can change, if you don't like where these are, you can move all of the elements around within the video. You can also shorten if you don't want your video, if you don't want those words on there the whole time. You can shorten how long you want those in there. You can change the music. They have an entire music library in here if you want to do something with that. But what I really appreciate about this, not only does it make it easy for us to develop videos, and not only does it let me, you can change the size aspect. So if you want to go vertical or square, if you want a classic cinema, so you can change the size of your video. So Marla, I'm about to make your world. So there's this button over here called transcripts. If you didn't catch it in chat, Marla said, will it generate closed captioning for videos? When I hit transcript and say generate transcript, I can tell it English, I can tell it whatever. I can filter out profanity. I don't have any profanity or offensive language in my videos, but I suppose you could click that. We have done probably, Aaron and Jamie, we've probably done 10 or 15 of these by now. And there's never any offensive language. There's never anything. But it will transcribe all of this. Now, when you hit that transcribe button, it automatically puts the closed captioning in the video. And not only can you put the closed captioning in the video, you can actually format the words on the video. So you can actually change the formatting. So it comes defaulted in this white with a black outline around it. If you were doing a video that was really bright, maybe that's not going to be easy to see. Or if you've got a piece of video that comes over, maybe that's not going to be as easy to see as you want it to be. And so you need to change that. You can change the font on this. I find when I do this, I'll be honest, they always default my section titles in my videos to this bottom corner. I am forever grabbing these and moving them away, whether I put it in the top corner here or the top corner here. But I do find that I have to move those because I want to keep the closed captioning at the bottom. You can see over here, I've selected this. You can say change the text over here. You can change the text, the size. If I want to change this, I can do, I can make it bigger. I can make it bold. I can change the color. If I wanted to be green, I mean, you can change all of the closed captioning. What I also appreciate about it is when I'm doing the transcript, if there is something I don't like, I can actually come into this transcript, and if the word doesn't work, I can edit that text in the transcript. So if I say why ask repeatedly, I can just say why ask. Let's say I didn't like repeatedly and I wanted to say multiple times. I can change that in here and it will change the transcript on there. This is an AI, as Aaron just put in there, it's an AI generated text, so we can still change it. If you can edit in here, if you want to edit the actual language, you do have to edit it in two places. So you have to edit the transcript, but you also have to edit the text. And you can do that here. You can, if you want to switch languages, you can switch languages. If you want to use a different dialect, this says South African. If I wanted to do this, you could have different feelings with yours. So it has all that to say, we have found a lot of value in developing these videos using Clipchamp. We're happy to help you. We've done a lot of trial and error. It does quirky things just like with any AI, like we've proofread the transcript and they put double periods in, or they've added extra spaces. Sometimes the video clips are not, I do not personally like. It's a human voice. Actually, Michael, if you give me 2 seconds when I get done talking, I'll actually put an example of some of the videos we've done. It exports out into an MP4 file. And it's very easy. So Jamie, you have your hand up.
You want me to play one real quick from my machine since my sound
yes.
Probably going to play not well. We'll see.
See if yours plays nice, but I'll still put one in the chat so everybody can look at it at their.
Okay, can everyone see this defining digital literacy?
Yep.
Digital literacy means having the skills to find, understand, and use technology to get your job done. In construction, logistics, and technical work, it's not about being a computer genius. It's about knowing how to work with the tools you have, from tablets and scanners to job apps and scheduling systems. Think of digital literacy like learning a new tool on the job. If you know the basics, what it does, how to navigate it, and where to find answers, You can adapt to almost any device or software you're given. That means you don't need to be an expert, just comfortable with the basics.
Okay, so that's an example. You hear the voice is professional. The pitch is professional. It does a really good job, and it took maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes to do that. And as Sarah and Aaron have said, you can drop in your own photos. You can drop in video clips. If you don't like a set of photos or a video clip they're using, you can just search the library or add your own. It's absolutely fine. Sarah has really saved us in discovering this tool. So we have really enjoyed that one. So again, it's really good. It's just minor tweaks is what I've found with it.
Mm-hmm. It's just getting to a few tweaks, getting to know how the tool works, how kind of the idiosyncrasies of the editing. Michael, so we have played with taking our videos out and putting them back in. So as an example, I created a video. Aaron had to go and do some editing on it after I'd already downloaded it into an MP4 file, and she was able to go back and revise it. Let me get you a current price on Copilot Pro. I want to say it was $20 a month. And Michael, for you, we actually worked with TBR IT to get our accounts. It's a button they have to turn on, and it has to go through your budget. But that we actually have that. We had them turn it on for us. So we thought we would share. So one of the things that we are committed to doing is sharing how we're using tools to further our own, because we're behind. We have fun talking about AI, but we actually do a lot of course and program development work on our own as part of our competency-based education work. We've got a lot of CBE projects that are happening. And so we are always finding ways to use AI to further the development of course and assessment work. And so we're committed to showing you some behind the scenes tips of how we're actually using AI to make our lives easier. And Clipchamp has saved us hours and hours of development. Probably in the month of August, I produced in the neighborhood of 15 to 17 videos, complete full 2 to 3 minute videos using Clipchamp for 2.5 courses. And then Jamie has done some additional development as well. And so if we were to do those from scratch, we couldn't make that happen. And Clipchamp is, and Copilot Pro is making this a reality. And it meets all the requirements for accessibility. It has all those tools built in, which is a huge win for us too. So that is our Tech Minute, where we show you a tool. So I'm going to turn it back to Jamie so that we've got about 15 minutes left, and we have some really cool things that we still want you to know are going on.
Thank you, Sarah. And I would just say, before Clipchamp, I'm a Camtasia user, which is expensive, and the learning curve is a little bit higher. And I've been able to do everything in Clipchamp that I'm able to do in Camtasia. So just a plug there for that. So I'm going to turn it over to Aaron, and Aaron's going to walk us through. Aaron, do you want to share from your screen?
I don't think I have that.
Okay,
it's buried.
I got it. I got you. I got
Thank
you. So we'll share from my screen, and Aaron's going to walk us through.
All right. So yes, we are huge fans of Clipchamp, and having been someone who's worked on creating videos from scratch in other platforms, it is a game changer. And again, you still have creative license and full license on what is actually produced. So it just gets you something to work with. So. All right, so want to announce, since we last met back in July, that we have officially launched tomorrow. Actually, we're having our first kickoff meeting for our communities of practice. Thank you for all who have submitted their applications, and we're ready to start with the first 4 communities. Those are, looking at that image there, they're the STEM faculty, the Health and Human Services faculty, Humanities and Arts faculty, and then we have a group for instructional, academic, and learning support professionals. So those groups will be our initial phase 1 implementation of our communities of practice. I'm really excited to begin that work. excited to learn with and from one another, and so that we can help to develop best practices and really just a community of learning, expanding our community of learning. The next phase will then be announced in the spring, so stay tuned. We'll do something similar where we'll have an application process and encourage you to fill out that form. And hopefully we'll be able to expand to our other ideas of the communities of practice. So stay tuned on that. The next one here, want to just talk about more things that are coming. So again, this group is really challenging ourselves to immerse ourselves in professional development, professional acts within this AI space. And one of those is the AI conference. We are currently planning that for the spring. And so you'll hear more about that through this call and other communications, so stay tuned on that. And then also looking to find or implement a program here for AI fellows. Will be some professionals that can help us in the first challenge really is to develop that AI literacy framework using competency-based principles. And so we'll have more information coming out about that as well. Really looking for those who are pioneers or really living in the AI space, and that it can help come alongside us in blending that learning of AI with competency-based education. So stay tuned on that. And then also, since we met in July, we have launched officially our AI Learning Collaborative AI Exchange. You see an image there. There's the URL, and you can go and check out. Right now we have, I think, 8 use cases that have been shared and published through our site. We highly encourage you, as you're developing your use cases, you want to be able to share those with the rest of the TBR community and beyond. Go ahead and visit that site. You can get to it from our Bridging Minds and Machines website as well. And we'd love to share that with the community. 8 is a good start, but we'd like to have more really quickly here so that others can learn from you. So upload, just like it says, upload your use case today. So, and then this next one here, just a reminder about that wonderful website that is AI Learning, Bridging Minds and Machines website. We reference it all the time in these calls and other meetings. If you haven't been there lately, please go and check it out, especially like what Jamie was referencing, those frames for looking at the different privacy policies of different AI tools. That's a really great use of that site for us to be able to take that lift off your shoulder so that you can teach your students and you can learn yourself how you can learn more about these tools. So highly recommend you to go and check that out, bookmark it. I have it bookmarked on my computer. All right, and then want to again invite you. This is session first session of season 3. That's what I meant to say, and we'll continue through the year. And obviously, you know how to register, so they'll continue to do that. We'll send out the invites as we develop those. That first or the second Tuesday of the month. That's what I meant to say. If you have any questions, please feel free, reach out to that email address. It comes to all of us, and we'd be happy to answer any questions, or again, share any of those resources that we've talked about in this session. You're curious about, reach out to us, and we're happy to share everything that we have and that we are aware of in the system. So, all right. And at the end of the slide here, those are the links to the research articles. We also put them in the chat, except for that one in the middle, which is an interesting one if you don't have that already on your news feed. Something to be aware of in higher ed is, what does the landscape look for our graduates now with AI in implementation in the workforce? So any questions? Anybody want to come off mute and share what it is that they're doing in their classroom or what they're preparing to do? Maybe you already have some ideas about Clipchamp, because I think somebody did. All right, I'll hand it back over to you, Sarah.
All right. Well, if you do have questions or you get in and start playing with Clipchamp and you have some questions, please reach out to us. We have learned a lot in the last month and we are happy to keep learning. If there's anything we can do for you, remember to reach out to us. We do appreciate you all taking time out of your day to spend an hour with us and talk tech in our Tech Talk series. We hope to see you again in October. That date will be October 14th, where we will welcome you back for another session. Otherwise, we hope we will hang out for a couple minutes if you have some individual questions. Otherwise, we hope you have an amazing afternoon and hope to see you back here again in October. Bye. Yes, Jamie has put in the chat, but if you have a topic you want us to take on, let us know. You can put them when you register for Tech Talk Tuesday. You can put that recommendation in your registration. We always look at those. Those are all future facing. We don't turn on a dime. Sometimes we do, but let us know. You can always email us at ailearning@tbr.edu. And Marla has put the link to her Monday Minute, which she always puts out for each Monday. She has some information in there, and their Tech Talk Tuesday information is always in her Monday Minute as well. So Glenna, yes, we are still having folks sign up for each of the sessions because sometimes emails change or things go crazy. So we just have that registration every month. We'll send it out. I've already put it in this chat, so you're welcome to go ahead and sign up for that. If you know you want to come in October, but we'll be sending it out the last week of September for folks to register for October. But you can register at any time.